Today, what they're saying is, tell me what you're using AI for that's to my benefit, that will lower my costs, will increase my legal throughput, manage down my risk. And so having that perspective from the client side, I think really benefits our customers.
From Adderant, this is Studio A, the podcast that helps legal professionals like you stay on top of trends and solutions that keep your law firm thriving. Welcome to Studio A, powered by Adderant. I'm your host, Will Ayers, and you are tuned in to your podcast for the latest conversations shaping legal tech. I speak to a lot of innovators on the show, a lot of law firms, clients, etc. I love talking to partners as well. Now I have Norm Mullock on the show. He is the global head of corporate development and alliances at Harbor. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
We are at Momentum Global 2025 in Dallas, Texas. Can you provide us with an overview of who Harbor is and some of the work that you do?
Sure. So Harbor has been on quite the journey over the last couple of years. We're private equity backed. We are building the quintessential services partner to the legal industry. So, as I say, private equity backed, we have brought about 10 firms together who have, in their own right, brand recognition in the market, helped the industry through the years in both process transformation and digital transformation. And together now we're about 850 people, global presence, and we work with pretty much all of the large law firms on the global scene and half of the Fortune 500 in their law departments.
Absolutely love that. That's a huge portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Data management is big in our world. What's your approach to data strategy and what areas of emphasis should law firms prioritize?
Well, I think there are a couple of different lenses that you can look data management through. One being the divide between analytic data and the other operational data as an example. So where are you trying to knit your data so that you can achieve outcomes like supporting AI strategies, extending workflows so that you can better automate routine processes, knit that data together to be able to form a more perfect understanding of what you're doing in terms of your lawyer's experience, in terms of the matters that you're executing, the client relationships that you're developing. And then on the analytics side of things, it's all about a true understanding of the business. And so when you talk about data management, it's about assessing where they are today. What are the outcomes that they're trying to achieve? What are the limitations that they have from a technology standpoint or an application standpoint? And then ultimately, how do you get to that goal of being able to have data be the new oil, which is, sort of the buzzword around the industry?
I absolutely love data being the new oil. I have to steal that one. Your organization has been involved in more than 500 cloud projects. And in the legal industry, law firms, they dibble and dab in different practices. Are there any certain practices that you've seen more success in others, or can you just expound upon that a little more?
Sure. So I've been in the industry for 26 years. It's really been within the last 5 years that folks started to identify as cloud first or cloud centric. There was a great resistance to the cloud. I think the trust in the platforms, the trust from a security standpoint, the appreciation for the fact that in many ways these are safer environments than on-premise situations where the firm is responsible for its own management has really shifted the ability to focus on those cloud migrations. And having crossed that line, now it's about what's the new functionality available to us? Who are the partners that are creating software that gives us a modern experience, a modern user interface for our lawyers and staff, and who are solving real problems for an industry that has sometimes suffered from attention? The preparation for a cloud migration is paramount. So is my data in a good state? Do I know how much of my data that I want to bring along? Do I know that the end state after I've migrated, that all of the integrations that I have in the rest of my application stack are going to work? How do I feel confident that I have a good change management plan so that my lawyers, my end users aren't surprised by the new experience and they're actually getting the value out of the application that they intend to get?
You mentioned the preparation for the cloud migration, and that's something that I hear a lot at different conferences, talking to legal professionals as well. What are some of the challenges that you see when law firms are migrating to the cloud? And can you discuss some of the things that your team does to kind of support them on that journey?
Sure. So I would think about that in terms of three pieces. So one is the data of a sufficient quality. Am I moving to a system that is more tolerant or less tolerant of aberrations in the data, et cetera? So how prepared am I? Do I have access to the data that I need to move in the first place? Second is the process. One of the great debates for firms is just how much am I trying to just move my existing business as usual environment to the cloud, or am I taking advantage of the disruption of moving to a new application by reinventing how I go about doing things? And then the third is change management. So do I have a plan at the start of this to make sure that my end users are ready to use the application as it's intended to be used and to get the outcomes that they want? And then interestingly, from a partner standpoint, how do we as a good partner to folks like Aderant ensure that adoption rates are high? Because as you go to the cloud, renewals become the whole game, right? So your subscription model, you need that renewals on a perpetual basis, and that only comes if everybody feels like they're getting value out of the software. So that adoption becomes a very important aspect of what we do and how we partner well with folks like Aderant.
Are legacy systems slowing you down? Meet the firms that broke free. In this exclusive client roundtable, hear firsthand from Aderant clients as they reveal how Expert Sierra transformed their operations, from migration milestones to measurable wins. If you're ready to accelerate your revenue cycle and unify your front and back office, this is your roadmap to a smarter practice. Head to the webinar's on-demand section at aderant.com and watch why firms are hitching their wagon to Expert Sierra today.
Now, shifting gears a little bit, AI, there is a rapid development, or what I would say an era of rapid innovation taking place as it pertains to AI. And more law firms are either interested in adopting AI solutions or actually integrating it into their business systems. What is Harbor's positioning on AI, and what are you all doing to support law firms on that journey? Because it's a pretty big deal across the legal landscape.
It's a very big deal, and we are doing a lot with our customers in the space. So if you think about AI in terms of three different categories of applications, so there's generative AI as part of the practice of law. So how do I enable the lawyers to do their work by enabling them to create documents more quickly, summarize documents more quickly, that sort of task. Then there's the back office AI that folks like Aderant are implementing as part of their technology so that the applications can do things more automatically and routinize more repeatable steps. And then the third, you can think of it as sort of the agentic AI space where the applications can, from an administrative standpoint, from a support standpoint, be more autonomously run so that when things go wrong in the application, is smart enough to notify somebody or notify another application that something has gone wrong and needs addressing. So it's pretty early stages, early days in the industry. We are doing a lot of AI preparedness. So taking a look at the problems that folks think they can solve with AI and create plans for doing it. AI readiness. Are we thinking about the industry the right way? Are we thinking about our business the right way? And then we're running a lot of proofs of concepts, pilots. There's a lot of try it before they buy it kind of mentality in the market. And we're partnering with these folks to try and make those efforts successful.
I think you all play a very interesting role because you're kind of like at the intersection of everything that law firms are doing. Whether it's cloud, AI, or just traditional applications. So I'd like to take an even deeper dive into some of the things that you do as an organization, whether it's day-to-day maintenance, security, new software, acquisitions of where softwares are being merged. What's your approach to ensuring that clients are getting that always on support? Because there are different verticals or different things that you're tackling each and every day. What's your approach of just kind of like managing all of that? Because that seems like a lot.
It is a lot. You know, when we think about the services that we provide our customers, you can break them down into three components, and the acronym AIM is useful in that. So the first is assess. So helping firms figure out where they are today, where they need to go and the steps, the plans that need to be put in place in order to get there. And none of the efforts to evolve, to transform the businesses will succeed without an appreciation for where they are, where they're going, and the plan in the middle. The second, obviously, is implementation. So the actual executing of the plans. And there we play end-to-end roles so that we can do planning, the implementation, the change management, and so forth. Or we can have a role like client-side project management or testing, play a part of the overall implementation. And then finally, on the management side of things, we are increasingly asking our customers and being asked by our customers where there are opportunities for us to operate on their behalf. So we have a long history of doing things like outsourced training, outsourced research, outsourced procurement. We're increasingly being asked to play a role in providing the application managed support to the entire application ecosystem that folks have. Because while, for example, Adorant does a really nice job of providing support with their products, that interoperability, that making sure that Adorant works with the DMS, with the CRM, with the risk platform, with HCM and so forth, all of that requires a set of skills that is different from what the firm has today. And going out and hiring those skills can be hard. It can also be outside of the priorities of the firm. And we see it as our obligation really to step in and help firms go faster.
As things continue to speed up from a solution standpoint and the services of Harbor continue to expand, what's your approach to ensure that you're always meeting the evolving needs of law firms? Because simultaneously, as your business expands, their needs are going to expand as well. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. It's interesting. So our scale is something that the industry hasn't seen before in a services partner. And a lot of what we know about the industry and are doing about the industry, we're also thinking about ourselves. So we're an 850-person professional services organization, which isn't as large as our largest customers, but is larger than many of our customers. And thinking about staying perhaps not 10 years or 5 years out in front of our customers, but staying a couple years out in front of them and understanding which technology providers that are being generated internally to the industry are creating the right sort of thinking around the evolution of the business, but then also borrowing from outside of the industry. So which platforms, which technologies are being used outside of the legal industry, either in the broader accounting and consulting or professional services organization, or even further afoot, and figuring out where those lessons and that technology can benefit the industry as the industry evolves. The other really interesting aspect to that is, unlike some of the folks who play our role for the law firm side of things, about a third of our business is with our law firm's customers. So those clients of law firms have a very interesting dynamic in terms of their expectations of the law firms. And so 2 years ago, they were saying things like, "You're not using any of that AI, right?" And today what they're saying is, "Tell me what you're using AI for that's to my benefit, that will lower my costs, will increase my legal throughput, manage down my risk." And so having that perspective from the client side, I think really benefits our customers.
I love that because it provides a 360 perspective of everything that's going on. Before we close, you mentioned that you work with your clients and they come to you and lean on you to identify new opportunities. Mm-hmm. And we're in the era of trends and shiny objects as well. What is Harbor doing to ensure that law firms are able to capitalize on these new technological advancements?
So part of our responsibility is to work with early adopters of technology. So as I mentioned on the AI front, we're involved in a lot of pilots and helping firms test things and explore different ways of utilizing technology. We also have a robust advanced technology practice internally. So it's about going out and partnering with modern technology and bringing that back into a lab environment and figuring out what is applicable and what isn't applicable. Where are there interesting challenges or obstacles that we can uniquely fix? You think about some of the data, some of the evolution of the Azure analytics stack. You think about modern workflow. You think about machine learning driven analytics. All of those things are areas where our customers' law firms shouldn't have to learn all of that stuff on their own. They should be able to have someone that they can pick up phone to. That can be us, or it could be one of their peers. And a lot of what we do on the community building side of things is help bring our peers together. So we have a regular survey effort, we have sounding boards, we have a whole set of community building efforts that pull people together to share those sort of ideas and to help get up the learning curve faster.
I love that. I love that. Norm, I learned a lot. I knew about Harbor, but you took a deep dive and now I know even more. So thank you so much for joining us on Studio A. You have to come back. I would love to check in with you periodically to learn about all of the amazing things that you guys are doing to support law firms around the world.
Would love to do it. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. That was Norm Mullock from Harbor. You are tuned in to Studio A, powered by Adderant, your podcast for the latest conversations shaping legal tech. You can check us out on all major streaming platforms. Thank you for joining us in Studio A. Thanks for listening to Studio A. For more from this episode, visit Adderant.com. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a beat, and we'll see you next time in Studio A.